Hey man, how you been over the last 2 weeks?
Rather good, man. Knocking out assignments left and right.
Semester's going good. It finishes everything up. Have you implemented any things we talked about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, man. I started a calendar. I got more like a to-do list set. I feel like I've been more efficient over the past 2 weeks.
So, which step was the best? Was it the reminders or was it the calendar?
Probably the reminders, because even with a calendar, you still miss those notifications. But like reminders, they pop up at like the top of your phone, so it's easier to like not miss unless you like move it out the way.
Good, good. So, over the course of these 2 weeks, how much clearer has your work been? How clear has your assignments, your life become?
I find myself with more free time on days where I usually don't have as much free time than I usually do. I guess assignment wise, life wise, it's just like less stress, more, I guess, more time to think about other things that are actual like problems for me.
Problems like what?
Just like other life things like finances and shit.
Gotcha. So going into the summer now, do you feel that you're gonna start to trail off?
Probably because it's not as much. I don't really do like assignments in the summer, and I won't really. I try to take summer as like a full on break instead of doing any other important things. So it probably will fall
Um, so how do you think you can combat that right before going back to school and putting yourself right back into that mode?
just more like prep instead of like doing it like right at the end of the semester. Start like a month before, just to get back into like that system, that habit. So when starting the next semester, it's already a habit and it's easier than it was starting out because then it'll be more fluid, more experience.
So what's more experience? So you think when you start back up and you start your year, it's gonna be a smooth transition?
I think so, yeah. Just because off of like experience with this semester, starting with this new system, going into next semester, it'd be more planned out than it was. Like probably like instantly putting all assignments on like a calendar or on like a reminder sheet instead of like doing it the day of or like a week before.
Gotcha. So how were you able to sustain um, your reminders and your calendar over these past 2 weeks? Were you just self accountable, just on it?
Yeah, I had more self accountability than like others. I didn't really feel like getting others involved this late into the semester because they would have came with more questions and more like, um, I guess, lectures from others. I'm like, why I haven't been doing this already?
So going back to the summer, so have you finished making your schedule?
Yes, I have finished making the schedule.
You did.
Yeah.
So how have you built your schedule around like knowing the way you are and that you're a procrastinator at times?
I'm not really a morning person, so I really build my schedules around like the noon, evening times. So I try to avoid morning so that I can actually go to class and have like efficiency during class, actually looking like I want to be there.
Yeah.
So I build my schedule around times like that. I don't really want to be in the same building too long, so I try to build my schedule around different buildings. But like this year, that wasn't really the thing. My classes are right next to each other, like right across the hall from each other, back to back. So I try to build my schedule off of that.
Okay, that makes sense. For me, for me, I do the same thing. Actually, I build my schedule around how I am. I like to have my weekends free, Friday through Sunday. I like to have all those days free because that's the whole time I used to do my homework. I don't know if that's the same for you. I like to have a set day. Do you have a set day that you like to do work, or is it sporadic still?
I tell myself a set day, but then it just ends up being due like either after the class or like the day of the due date, depending on how I'm feeling.
Do you feel that your professors make it easier for you or harder for you when it comes to procrastination?
It really depends on the professor because there's some professors who are like lenient and make Canvas the easiest thing known to man, and then there's also professors who put too much information in the Canvas. Like a professor who like lays out like a table of like the whole semester of like what's happening this week, what's due at the end of the week. I like those kind of professors because it's just like they keep it simple instead of bombarding students with all this information, making it hard to comprehend.
So in a sense, you're saying when there's loads of information being thrown at you, it's way harder to figure out what you need to do, and it enables you to procrastinate.
Yeah, me personally, I'm like a visual learner, so any type of visuals is just very helpful to my brain.
And the smaller, more concise, straight to the point professors are the one that help you the most.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I can understand that fully. Uh, so how many, like, is there a amount of classes that there's a sweet spot for you where it's just enough work where you can stay on top of it, or are you at a point where you're like, oh, I'm in go mode, I need to have more classes, even though that might hurt me?
I do feel that I need to be in go mode, but I've done 4 classes every semester so far, and even there is like I get through it, but it's still like a sense of stress. So I feel like adding another class onto that, especially like especially online, it just make it like so much more stress because then it's really on me. There's not really a teacher keeping track like there is of an in-class course, and it's just like more on the to-do plate than there is before classes.
Oh, let's touch on that. So in an online class, you feel that you procrastinate more because there's no teacher like visually you can see her. She's telling you, she's reminding you this, and that.
It's more like with the online class, there's not really the due dates are like very sporadic. Like it could be something due once every 2 weeks, or 2 things or 3 things due on like a Thursday, and it's like, or they're all due at the end of semester. Then that's when it's really bad because then you'll see that you'll be like, oh, I got like 5 months before this is all due. I could just do it throughout the semester, and then you realize you're not keeping up with the work. Now you're falling behind. Now it's the last week of the semester, and you're doing 15 assignments in one night.
So what I'm hearing is just a consistent flow is key for you to stay engaged with all your courses. Like you want to have that mental note that things are usually going to be somewhat the same and similar.
Yeah, I like a similar, not a similar, a set week. Like right now, my assignments either due Tuesday night, Friday night, or Sunday night. So I know every Tuesday, Friday, or Sunday, I have an alarm that goes off that tells me like, hey, you might have homework due tonight. Now, out of nowhere, a teacher throws an assignment in for Thursday, it's gonna get forgotten because I haven't had an assignment due on Thursday all semester. Now all of a sudden, you're throwing this in, and you remind me through Canvas, but still, it's not enough because my Thursdays are already packed with other things.
Completely understandable. I can attest to that myself. As my classes, most things are usually due Sunday, but as if my final is on a Saturday, so that's just those are right into my schedule of doing work because I usually finish everything by Sunday, but I'll just have to pay attention to that. So my advice to you would just to check Canvas more often because I've realized I need to do that because things change. Like professors do like to change things out of nowhere, and sometimes there's reasons for it to stay on top, stay on schedule. This isn't the third, but it's just good to be aware of those things.
Yeah.
So overall, going into the summer and next semester, just what's your big vision? What's your big goal over the next going into 2027?
My personal goals for 2027, just higher GPA, get it over what I wanted to get it over, probably like 3.2, 3.3. More financially stable, more responsible, which goes into the procrastination, and like more, what's the word? Not, I guess creative is what I'll say for now.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you for your time. I will see you never again.